Hi, my name is Ricardo with Extreme Air USA, and you just got one of our under cabinet models. So I'm going to be showing you today how to install it. But before we do that, there's a few things we need to take care of. Before we begin installing, we need to gather up some basic tools that we will need for the installation.
You will need a power screwdriver with an extension bit so you can reach small areas, a level, tape measure, pencil or marker, wall or keyhole saw, aluminum tape, and last but not least, the mounting screws that come with the hood. An optional item would be a piece of plywood to cover and protect your cooktop. For an easier installation, you may need a helper or cabinet jack or card jack.
Now let's prepare our area for installation. The first thing you want to do is cover your cooktop with a piece of wood or something firm so that you don't damage it in case you drop a screwdriver or some nails. And the next thing that you want to do is open up the cabinet that's going to be on top of the range hood, and you want to prepare the holes for the ventilation. You're going to have an 8-inch in the center for the ductwork, and then you're going to have a hole for the electrical outlet. So electrical outlet's going to be small, 2 fingers should be fine, and then the 8 inches. You want to make sure it's a little bigger than the 8 inches so it fits in easier. If you have a recessed cabinet, you will need to get some pieces of wood to make it level so that we can mount the range hood and it stays nice and flush with the finish of your cabinet. Once you've made the holes for the ductwork and the electrical and you've covered your cooktop, we can get started with getting ready to install the range hood. So what you want to do is get the cabinet jacks that were mentioned earlier and put them on the sides. And what you're going to do at this point is you're going to go ahead and grab the range hood and put it on top of these two. However, if you only have one jack, you're going to only use one and you're going to put it in the center. If you only have one, you will need to have an extra piece of plywood so that you can balance out the weight of the range hood so it doesn't fall to the left or to the right. You're going to put it out in the middle, and then you're going to put the range hood on top. So we'll go ahead and do the installation using one jack, and remember that you need to use a piece of plywood. So we can go ahead and get started. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a lot easier if you have a second person. I have somebody to help me out, so what we're going to do at this point is we're going to grab the range hood and put it on top of the plywood. So you want to put it on its face, tilt it like this, and you want to just slide it over. Try not to put too much friction on it, you don't want to scratch the bottom. And want to make sure that it's placed and it doesn't fall over. Make sure that it's level so it doesn't tilt to the front. But once you have this, what you want to do is go ahead and put this wire into the top. Just like that to get that out of the way. So what you want to do now is you want to grab the range hood with one hand to keep it level as you pump it up. And with the other hand you want to pump up the jack. You want to keep this level, the front of the range hood level with the end of the cabinet so that it comes up nice and easy. So just pump nice and slow. One pump at a time and keep it level. Very easy. Until you get to the top. Now when you get close to the top, this is when you want to start doing the alignment. So ours is pretty far back, so what we're going to do is just slide it out with the help. Just have it like that. Keep it in place. Make sure to keep your hand on the range hood, at least one hand. And then you want to push it up. Make sure that it's level on both sides. And push it up with pressure and nice and even. So now that you have the range hood leveled with your cabinet, you want to go ahead and pull out the electrical wire. Make sure that it's not pinched in between the range hood and the cabinet. Once you do that, you're ready to go. You want to go ahead and make sure that it's level. It should be because your cabinet should be level, but you always want to double verify. So the front is, and you also want to check the sides. This might be a little bit off because you still haven't screwed it in, but it will be leveled by the time that you screw it up to the cabinet. After leveling the hood, we can go ahead and get the power screw. And what I recommend with the power screw is to have a long tip. The longer the tip, the better, but if you have a shorter one, it'll still work out. You will also need 4 screws that came in the bag that the manufacturer provided. And we can go ahead and get started with screwing. You're going to go ahead and have to go to the bottom of this and you're going to drill inwards this way. At this point you want to get under the range hood and begin the screwing. So you're going to get under and then you're just going to go ahead and start screwing it in. Once you finish that side, you want to do the same thing with the other side. So get your screw and the power screw and go ahead and start drilling. Once you've mounted the range hood by screwing in the 4 screws and you've done the ductwork and installed the electrical, we can go ahead and remove the jack and a piece of wood, and you can go ahead and and clean off and finish off your range hood so it looks nice and clean. Remember to go with the grain. And you're ready to enjoy your range hood. Remember, if you still had any other questions as to how to install it, there is step-by-step instructions in the manual that came with the range hood. If you still had questions after that, feel free to contact our customer support line at 714-554-9000 and we'll go ahead and take care of any of your questions. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Hi, my name is Ricardo with Extreme Air USA, and you just got one of our under cabinet models. So I'm going to be showing you today how to install it. But before we do that, there's a few things we need to take care of. Before we begin installing, we need to gather up some basic tools that we will need for the installation.
You will need a power screwdriver with an extension bit so you can reach small areas, a level, tape measure, pencil or marker, wall or keyhole saw, aluminum tape, and last but not least, the mounting screws that come with the